That down, let's move on to this, shall we? The Penguin. Now, we gushed, of course, last week over that first episode. I mean, I was expecting the show to be good because the Batman was great. Colin Farrell's Penguin in it was a standout. And this whole idea, the trailers for the Penguin look great, like a real gritty kind of crime drama, Sopranos in the world of Batman. Looked great to me. But I wasn't prepared for how good that premiere episode was. It was outstanding. And its numbers reflected that. But we said, when we reviewed that first episode, and we talked about the big ratings they had, it's one thing to get big numbers for your first episode. I.e., Ahsoka had big numbers for its first episode and then went, The Acolyte had really respectable numbers for its first episode, and then the ratings did that. It's Obi-Wan, huge numbers. Didn't dip as bad, but they started to dip. It's one thing to have a show that has a big first episode. The question is always, what will episode 2 do? And what will episode 3? Will we see like WandaVision had, where the week after week after week, the ratings kept going up and up and up because the word of mouth got out about it. Everybody started jumping back on board and all that kind of stuff. And the numbers went up. Or like some of the shows we already mentioned, they started to tank after the first episode. What would Penguin do? Because just because it's a great show and the first episode was fantastic doesn't automatically mean people are going to flock to it. Penguin flock.
I get it.
I didn't even do it on purpose.
March
That's
of the
how
Penguins.
naturally, brilliantly funny I am.
Batman.
Well done.
So, well, episode 2 came out, quality-wise, right on par with the first one. It was so good. I loved episode 2.
It was number 2, but it weren't a stinker.
Well,
Disappointed in everyone today.
we got our numbers. According to Deadline, get this, from one episode to the next, the Penguin audience went up 17% just from episode 1 to episode 2. 17% just from episode 1 to episode 2. That's outstanding numbers. I don't even think WandaVision's rise, I don't even think it went that quickly. I could be wrong about that, but I think it grew like 10%, then like another 8%, then another 12%. Like I can't even remember if it jumped like from 17% from episode 1 to episode 2. Like that is crazy. And what does that tell us? It tells us a couple things. One, I think there's a part of that people, there are some people out there who always intended to watch The Penguin, just maybe never got around in the first week. I definitely think part of that 17% is those people who had always intended to watch Penguin, just maybe never got around in week 1 to start there. So that's fine. But I think the rest of that 17% is strictly word of mouth. I think that other 17% may be people who never intended to watch Penguin or were sort of maybe interested in it. Maybe they'll check it out. And then they heard from their friends just how good Penguin was. I had a lot of people write to me saying I wasn't really all... Some people wrote to me saying I didn't really love Batman the way you did, and I wasn't going to watch Penguin, but I heard everybody talk about how great it was, including our show, and so I went to check it out and I loved it. I think that conversation has played itself out hundreds of thousands of times across the world after number 1. And that's the trajectory. Great opening week numbers are wonderful, but that's not what tells the story. What tells the story is this, or this. And this is what Penguin has given us. And here's the thing. I expect maybe not 17%, but I expect we are going to see a similar jump in week 3. Why? Because episode 2 was just as bloody phenomenal. It was... I cannot get over how, for a comic book franchise, how insanely acted this is. And of course, being a Sons of Anarchy guy, I love that we saw Theo Rossi in there.
Oh my gosh. I lost my mind over him. I was like, Juice? What?
Yes, what
Why
are you doing
here?
Juice? Why do you have hair?
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's good in this.
And I have a feeling he's going to be nasty.
Oh, he's got such big bad potential.
Yes.
The emphasis on hypnosis, just his everything about it.
Yeah.
Oof.
Isn't it appropriate for a therapist to grab and hold their client like that? I don't know.
No, but historically, Arkham psychiatrists have been pretty bad at patient relations.
Really? They're not so good?
No,
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. But it's just been so good. Again, another little twist, another little turn. And you know, Chris, you weren't here yesterday, but one of the things that I mentioned that I love about it so much is that a lot of movies and shows that try to feature a traditional villain, they make them very sympathetic. See, Morbius isn't all that bad of a guy. See, this person isn't that, like, Penguin, they're not ambiguous at all about it. This is a bad person. This is not a guy who secretly has a heart of gold. This is not a guy who's just misunderstood. He is a vile, bad person. But they still humanize him. He's a guy who loves his mother. He can have a sense of a connection to this kid. Like, they humanize him, but they never play, patty cake with the idea that he is still a viciously bad, awful person who will always act in his own best interest and will murder school children if he thinks he can get an extra buck. Yeah. And they do all that. And all that, I think, is going to lead to next week seeing even bigger numbers when they come out. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, The Perfect Jean. Okay, so I've got to tell you about The Perfect Jean. These jeans are seriously a game changer. You know that feeling you get when you find a pair of jeans that fit so well that you almost forget that you're wearing them? That's what happened when I tried these. I'm not kidding. They're as comfortable as your favorite sweatpants, and they can slide on like them too, but they still look amazing. Look, as guys, we've all suffered through stiff, uncomfortable jeans, but The Perfect Jean is all about recusing, well, your gentlemanly area. These jeans are soft, stretchy, and they fit like they were custom made just for you. Because they've got an insane range of sizes, whether you're a skinny jeans kind of guy or rocking the bigger look. And they didn't just stop with jeans, they've got the perfect tee as well, with just the right amount of stretch to hide that beer belly, but still make you look great. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code Campea15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with the promo code Campea15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show by telling them that we sent you. F your khakis and get The Perfect Jean. Anyway, Chris, you see this spike in audience.
Yeah.
What do you make about it? Are you surprised by how big it is? What do you see the trajectory going? What do you think?
I mean, I am surprised just by the size of the jump, because that is a big, big leap forward. I do think a lot of people waited for that word of mouth and maybe binged these two episodes together and gave this a shot. And then that's why we see this kind of leap here. And I do think a lot of people do oh my gosh, Penguin, that's the show? That's what we're going to do? Another Batman show without Batman? Are you kidding me? But this is really, really great quality television. And to your point too, I never want a villain. No, I shouldn't say never. Sometimes I like a mustache twirling, I'm evil for the sake of evil villain.
If
Sometimes
it fits
that's
the story,
fun.
yeah.
But I don't need to root for said villain and go, gosh, I understand his point of view. I only need my villain to understand their point of view. I only need them to be justified in why they're doing
Can I
the
repeat
things
what
that
you
they
just
do.
said? I love that.
Yeah.
I only need my villain to understand their point of view. I love that. That's
'Cause
great.
I just want them to have a clear-cut vision of why they're making those choices. But I, as the audience, don't need to go, you know what? We should introduce a new drug on the streets of Gotham. I get it. No, I need to just understand the methods to your madness, right? And I think that's what the show is doing so beautifully. And that's what you get a lot of times, too, with crime shows, mobster shows of, yeah, these are bad people doing bad things, but the ends to them justify the means. And this is such a great exploration of that. And I feel like this show is just going to keep getting better and better and better. I hope it is, at least, because it's so great so far. And I know I say it each week when we talk about it, but oh my gosh, Sophia Falcone is such a bananas character, and she's doing such a great job. I know we keep talking about how
freaks
Colin
me out,
Farrell
man.
just give him the Emmy already. Give her the Emmy. Holy shit, she is just a powerhouse, and she's terrifying.
She's great.
You know what the most genius thing they've done in this show is? The most genius thing they've done in the show is They unambiguously, this is a vile, evil person.
Mm-hmm.
But they still get us to root for him. Why? Because so far in the show, I think it's been deliberate that they're only, I have no doubt he would shoot school children to get $1. I have no doubt about that he's vile. But in the show, they're only showing us him doing terrible things to other terrible people.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that last.
And
yesterday, I
so
think,
that
too.
creates a dynamic where we can clearly identify this is a bad person and yet also root for him. And that is a tricky wire to walk
Well-
that they've able to get us to
Kind
do
of that
here.
Dexter thing.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is
Yeah.
that he's going to move beyond that, because once he does become the kingpin of crime, he's going to start hurting innocent people.
Exactly.
And that's
And then
maybe
you'll
when
root for his
Batman gets
downfall.
Then
involved.
you're going to
Like,
get the
Exactly.
slow stomp of Batman coming down.
yeah,
the
in a
hall.
season 2 or 3, if they get to that point, that's probably when they'll let Batman just stick his nose in. Hey, just remember I'm here. That sort of thing. But I love, unlike Transformers 1, that puts out great movie and suffers badly. I love seeing great quality like the Penguin getting rewarded. Guys, question is for you. Have you started watching the Penguin yet? I love this show. I can't believe how good it is. And apparently a lot of other people agree, because the series, its viewership ratings are climbing at an insane rate. What do you think we're going to see in episode 3? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.